So welcome to this class. I'm leading this class as a part of our yoga therapy training module. And I'm welcoming you as a student who's also what I'm going to call a householder yogi. You may be an urban yogi or a rural yogi, but you're a householder yogi. You're a lay person. If you were an ascetic, you would not likely be watching this class on YouTube. So there's a little distinction that I'm making there because I'm teaching this class to help you work off the residue of the daily life, let's say mayhem of being a householder yogi. So that daily residue accumulates because of what's happening in daily life personally, in our families, in our communities, and then also collectively. So the first section of this class is a sort of cleansing practice, a practice of kriyas, the cleansings of pranayama. The second section of the class is a physical asana practice where you get to move the spine and work off some of the mayhem of the body, what you're holding. You'll move into 3 of the warrior poses, warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3. And in the last portion of class, we'll do a chanting practice to then help bring that all together and to settle down your mind. Okay, let's go to class now. See you there. I'm very glad to be here. I'd like to offer a practice this morning that has a couple different vignettes in it. A vignette is when we have like a short burst of a practice and then we get to pause and feel into that. And then we do the next one and then we check again. What I'm hoping we can move towards is an internal sense of the luminous, what yoga refers to as that which is luminous, or the Anandamaya kosha, or you could say consciousness or grace. So we'll start with a simple seat as we always do. We will do some pranayama. It might be helpful for you to blow your nose before the practice begins, just letting you know. And it's helpful to have 2 yoga blocks for the practice today too. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. The kitties are all going to their next adventure. Bye, you guys. Okay. But most of us who are gathered here, we are what I would call urban yogis or householder yogis. We might even be rural yogis, but most of us are householder yogis, which means that we have daily responsibilities and the rhythms of daily life. And I think everyone who's gathered here today lives in the same culture that I live in, this westernized culture, has a very strong influence on us for commerce and merchandise and kind of commercialization, a post-industrialization of things. Not that we all associate with that, but we are swimming in the soup of that around us. And so just by that experience, we need the daily cleansing of yoga to remember that which we are. If we then add that we have responsibilities such as maintaining a home, nourishing a family, having a livelihood, supporting a community, maybe we have a job and a volunteer activity and some family members, perhaps we're parenting upstream for our parents, helping them, or we may be parenting children. All these things, then also it's really helpful to have a daily cleansing practice to remember what is our essential nature. And that discovery is also the essential nature of everyone and everything. So it's not that we're only coming back to our sense of this essential nature, but that we can glimpse it as that which is shining through everyone and everything. When you arrive for your practice, you might notice the influences of the residue of the culture in which you live, the place in which you live, the current events of the time in which you're living. And then all of your duties and responsibilities are also there. Notice what your body is coming in with. And then practicing a moment of smriti, of remembrance. If you can shift your mind to sensing your most near memory of that luminous inner self. The memory that's most proximal, that's most recent or easily recalled. To sense that. And with that in your heart, you can raise your hands, bringing your palms together in prayer position. We'll chant Asatoma Satgamaya. May we know the real from the unreal. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Satoma Sadgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Yes, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. I'm going to check one of my settings. Okay. So let's begin with a practice, a brief pranayama kind of blowing off practice, a discharging, you could say, off-gassing kind of practice for a few moments. So what we'll do is we'll start with recalibrating the breath, physiological sigh, deep breath in, little sip, exhale like sighing. These breaths can be in and out through the nose. You can sigh through the nose, it's okay. And then we'll take it to a little bit more vigorous, and then one more vigorous, and one more vigorous, and then we'll come back to stillness. Okay, so let's do the physiological sigh 3 times. So deep inhale, sip inhale, sigh for the exhale. You can even think of it as it's purposeful, it's mechanical. You can also add a spiritual or emotional tone to it if you want to. Complete 3 of those and then rest in stillness. Observe even the simple recalibration that you get from 3 breath cycles like that. And now 5 strong exhales. We blow these ones out through the mouth, like you're holding a straw. That'd be the size you'd use for a milkshake. So I don't drink milkshakes, but I remember. So it's 5 strong exhales, 1 long exhale. At the end of that long exhale, inhale through both nostrils, come up to hold, and then exhale to surrender. And we'll do this also 3 times, pausing in between. Okay, so like this. Breathe in. Exhale. And then repeat. Breathe in. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And deeply relax. And now we're going to be inhale up, fingers are spread, exhale, pull down. And this is brisk, breathing in and out through the nose. Of course, at your pace, we'll do a certain repetition number. I often do 30, 40, 50, 60, depending on the day. And then we will have a pause on that. We'll inhale, one big inhale. We'll hold that and we'll exhale back down to release, like this. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. Don't practice any kind of breathing, just deeply relax and receive the breath. So that was 30. Now we'll do 40 when you're ready. Inhale. And exhale. Deeply relax any effort to breathe and allow your body to be breathed. Now I'd like you to have your setup so that when you bow forward, your head is going to come down to a support of some kind. It could be a block, it could be a blanket, it could be the floor. If your head comfortably reaches the floor, I'm going to scoot my seat back. So when you're going to be coming down, you will not have the support of your hands. So you'll use the belly muscles for coming down. And we're going to be placing the arms at the small of the back like this. So some of you will find that your head can comfortably touch the block. Some of you will find it'll come all the way to the floor. Okay. So this practice we're going to do following one more kriya. We call these kriyas when you're doing a cleansing practice. We'll do one more kriya. And then as that settles, I want you to see in advance so that you won't have to have a lot of instruction. Once that settles, we're going to inhale. We'll take the arms up. And we'll be exhaling to come wide and forward and down like this. When we come down, we'll squeeze the breath out. And then we'll inhale to come back up. It'll be a slow and thoughtful breath. And we'll be exhaling to bring the hands back down to the heart. Okay, so one more kriya, and then we go to this slower, more thoughtful practice and see what integrates from there. Okay, so we'll go once more like this. So you may do 30, you may do 40, you might be somebody who can do 50. It's not important to challenge it until you're doing 100 of these. You're shifting your physiology pretty dramatically. So pushing past what you need to do is not going to get you better rewards. This is a myth that's been, it's perpetuated by our society of like, the more we consume, the more we somehow gain in status. So we're not going to push past what we can do because you're trying to influence a shift to come back to inner silence, not to have the most exhales relative to anybody else in the class or relative to yourself yesterday or yourself tomorrow. So be rhythmic and consistent, and let's begin. We'll inhale. And then follow your exhale. Of course, you may have already done that if you just did 30 repetitions or 40. And sit in deep quiet. And go to the stillness that's deeper than the sensations of your body. And watch the process settling, right? It's like watching raindrops on the water until the rain gets less and less and less. And finally, the water becomes really still. Now, using the Ujjayi breath, clasp your hands. Inhale. And exhale. There's no suspension in this breathing. We're going to squeeze the exhale out. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale back to the heart. Little pauses at the bottom and top of the breath, but no formal suspensions. Inhale. Follow your own breath cycle, but try to balance your inhale and your exhale. Do this one more time. Rest and see if perhaps the surface of the water has become smooth, clear, reflective. Now let's release from the seat and please come to table pose with 2 blocks for your hands. I'm going to ask you to put the blocks on the medium setting. Like that. Okay. When you come to this table pose, give yourself some space at the front of your mat and the back of your mat. And on the inhalation, press into your cat pose spine. So your back is going to round. And then exhale to your cow pose spine and pay close attention to opening your chest, heart, and your throat. And then inhale back to cat pose. And exhale, cow pose. Curl your toes under. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, seal pose. So step over your feet so the toes are pointed. And then exhale, cow pose. And inhale to cat. Exhale, cow pose. Start from the sitting bones, undulate the spine through, open your chest, your heart, and your throat. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, plank. Inhale, seal pose. Cow pose as you exhale. Inhale, cat pose. Let's add child's pose. Exhale, squeeze back. Inhale, cat. Cow. Inhale, dog pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale to cat. Exhale, child's pose. Okay, let's inhale to cat pose again. We're going to change the sequence slightly. Exhale to cow pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, seal pose. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, plank. Exhale, seal pose. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale to rise, crescent. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, plank. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale, cat pose. And exhale, child's pose. We're going to add to the sequence again. So inhale, roll to cat pose. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, rise, crescent. Okay, exhale, descend, touch the two blocks. Take the blocks with you as you inhale, step forward, Ekapada Uttanasana. And exhale, bend your right knee, step back to the base of your crescent lunge. Inhale to plank. Okay, exhale to seal. So just coming into the shape of seal pose, then use the inhale to light it up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, rise to your crescent. Exhale, slowly down. Take the two blocks with you. Inhale, Ekapada Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your left knee. Take the right toes back to the floor. Walk the blocks back. Inhale to plank. Exhale, seal pose. Point your toes. Lower your knees. Inhale, light it up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. And then exhale, step your right foot forward, left foot forward, come to Uttanasana. Inhale to rise. And exhale to the heart. Okay, so the poses that we're going to include as we go forward, we're going to add to that. We're going to use the crescent, let's call that warrior one. We can put the back heel down to make that a classical experience of warrior one. Then we'll have warrior two, the side warrior pose. And then we'll do Ekapada Uttanasana, which is that one leg standing split pose. And we'll look to see if we can do warrior three. So the reason for the warriors is that we're discussing the Bhagavad Gita in our yoga therapy training module this week. So the warriors are on my mind. Bring your palms together. Find your sense of center. So shoulders, you can say, remember that song, shoulder, what is it? Shoulders, hips, knees, and toes. So shoulders, hips, knees, and toes. So find your plumb line. Imagine yourself like a warrior. You're developing the skills. In this case, the warriors in the Gita were archers. We're developing our archery skills for modern life. Using the Ujjayi breath, sweep the hands down, rise up. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise. Exhale, descend, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left toes back, Virabhadrasana 1. So pivot the left heel to the floor. Inhale, rise up and take a strong stance, gazing forward. Raise your arms. And gaze just slightly above the horizon. So there's a quality of optimism, or we could say upliftment. And breathe in once more. We're going to exhale and take it all the way to plank pose. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward, Virabhadrasana 1. So pivot your right heel down and follow your in-breath to rise up. And gaze just above the horizon. And then follow your exhale all the way to plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog. And exhale all the way to seal pose. Passing through plank pose on your way to seal pose. Inhale to lift up in your seal pose. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, right foot forward. Place the blocks a little bit ahead of you. Inhale, Ekapada Uttanasana. And exhale, step back to the base of your lunge pose. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward, just into the base of the pose. Take the blocks forward. Inhale, Ekapada Uttanasana. And exhale, step back to the base of your position. And this time, inhale, step forward into Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale to bow towards the legs. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. And that was warrior 1, now warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Glide forward. Left toes back. And keep your right outer hip stable as you pivot the left heel sideways. Come up to warrior 2. Now we take the gaze directly out over the fingers. So you're really looking towards the horizon. It's kind of a gaze of equanimity, right? This sense of being able to hold steady between what is to come and what has been, the future and the past, to hold steady in the present. Okay, let's inhale. On this last inhale here, raise both arms up. And then exhale and transition down to plank pose. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, left foot forward. And as you pivot your right heel in, keep the left outer hip stable. So you don't swing the left hip back on your way up. Again, gaze with steadiness at the horizon. Breathe in, raise both arms. And exhale, coming down and all the way into plank pose. It's a long exhale. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale to plank pose. Into the base of seal pose. So there's your exhale completing. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Now exhale, bring your right foot forward. Firmly establish your foot. Step the hands forward. Inhale, Ekapada Uttanasana. And exhale back to the base. Let's inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward. Establish your heel and your toes. Float your blocks forward. Inhale, Ekapada Uttanasana. And exhale, bend your knee. Take the toes back to your base. Inhale, downward dog. And now exhale your awkward foot forward first, second foot forward, and come to Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, deeply bow towards your legs. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, so now we're going to do Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. This is a pose where you're balancing on one leg. Excuse me, I have hair where I don't want it. I probably have cat hair on my face too. So this is a pose where you're balancing on one leg and holding that one leg steady. The rest of the body is supposed to aim like an arrow, right? So you tip over the standing leg and you're aiming, ultimately you're going to aim perhaps horizontal to the floor. What I'm going to recommend that we do is really pay attention to the standing leg, the hips, and the pelvis. So you're pivoting over a very stable fulcrum. In this case, with my brain injury, there's going to be a place where my brain says that's far enough, and the yoga is still intact. And then past that, it becomes striving, what I call spit and grit, the effort to do it. And I'm going to recommend that we stay in the yoga, whatever your forward is. Now, if you're very limber, sometimes what people do is they go and they kind of hang out on the end range of the hamstrings of the standing leg. And I'm going to suggest that you don't do that you're not going just into the place where you've got the limberness to hang there, but rather to hold steady. So like a warrior, an archer is holding pretty steady, right? They're not flimsy. Let's put it in the sun salute like this. Step to the front of your mat, find your hands together. And then as you inhale, sweep the hands down, reach wide and go up. Begin putting your weight into your right leg only. Root your right hip, your heel, and then as you exhale, come over your right leg into Warrior 3. Whatever amount of Warrior 3 is yours for this morning, please don't hyperextend the standing knee. The gaze is going to be down towards the floor in this case because the head is coming down in line with the spine. And then inhale, come back up to Urdhva Hastasana. Place your left foot next to your right. Exhale, sweep the arms wide and bring them back down to Anjali Mudra. Okay, inhale. We'll do the other side, a little bit of a test drive here. Reach up, put your body weight into your left leg, holding the left leg strong. Exhale and come forward. Whatever amount forward is going to be for you. And forward is not very far from me on this side. So you stay with your yoga and I'll stay with mine. And then inhale, rise back up to vertical. Establish your right foot once again. And exhale, sweep the arms wide. And come into Anjali Mudra. And inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Take the left toes straight back to the crescent. And inhale, rise up to crescent. Now with the exhale, we're going to reach forward into warrior three. So bow your torso forward, make a line from your left heel to your fingers, and then give a little scooch from your left toes and step into warrior three. And then bend the right knee, take the left toes back, and inhale, return to your crescent. And exhale, sweep the arms wide, come down and lightly touch the blocks. Inhale, step your left foot forward, bring your heart forward. And exhale to Uttanasana, bow towards the legs. Okay, inhale, glide forward. And then bend both knees, take the right toes back. Inhale, at your breath cycle, come into the crescent. And then exhale and bow your torso forward, just in line with your right leg. Then take a baby step with the right toes and come up into your warrior three. You'll only straighten the left leg the amount that you can do, while keeping the arrow from your fingers to your right heel. And then take the right toes back, come into your crescent, and exhale, sweep the arms wide, touch the two blocks. This time inhale backwards to downward dog pose. And exhale forward to seal pose. Inhale, look up. Exhale, cow pose. And then inhale to cat pose. And exhale to child's pose. Keep the hands out over the two blocks in child's pose. So in this child's pose, ideally your hips make it back towards your heels and your head can hover between your upper arms. So lift from the base of your skull for that little bit of hover for your head. And then walk your elbows back towards your knees, stack your hands like a little pillow, and rest your forehead all the way down in child's pose. And then let's come into Vajrasana, which is also called thunderbolt pose or kneeling pose. Okay, that's our second vignette right there. So come into Vajrasana. And again, watch things settle from the physical effort you made, the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, all the effort that you made. Now imagine it like raindrops flowing down on the surface of the water and becoming very smooth. It also means that every effort that you made, you've now surrendered it already. The medicine will be in your body. Any additional critique about your efforts, that fades. any commentary about the efforts, it dissolves. Any sort of holding on, it's also letting go. So simply watch. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, we have a duty to the actions, we have a right to the actions, the efforts, the commitments. We don't have a right to the outcome. We act with the fullness of heart and mind, a full commitment, and then we surrender. Please come to Shavasana for a few minutes. Invite yourself to very intentionally lie still and to receive the benefits of the practice. Allow yourself to fully receive. So during this time, these few minutes of Shavasana, you are not also daydreaming. You are not also reviewing or planning or studying or reacting. No storytelling, narrating, no to-do lists, just simply and deeply resting. Simply rest and receive. You can use it as a mantra. You're resting and receiving. And nothing more. Nothing more than that. And when you feel that the prana is evenly distributed, your body has come to some sense of wholeness or peace, then wiggle your fingers, your toes, bend your knees. Roll to your side, please, and come up to sitting. As you come upright, rest your hands in your lap. Let's take the mudra for the first chakra. Now we'll chant the sound Lam for the first chakra, the root chakra. Like the warrior brother associated with the first chakra is Sahadeva. And that duty there is the sense of our responsibility for the welfare of the whole. That includes us. You're included in the whole, our responsibility for the welfare of everyone and everything. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Now 16. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Long lam now. Second chakra, Nakula, the duty we have to be in right relationship with our senses. Wam, 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 wam. 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 Now for 8. Wam, 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 wam. Wam 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 wam. 16. Wam 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 wam. Wam 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 wam. Now long sound. And then silence. Let's bring the hands into the mudra for the third chakra. Insofar as the Gita opens there with Arjuna, and he is facing his duty I'd like us to do 4 long rams, R-A-M, in closing the practice. It's time to close, so we're going to close with this. And raise your hands to your heart. I might have done 5 of those because I lost count, because I lose count after 1. May we approach this day with the heart of the warrior that we are as urban or householder yogis. May we know our duty for humanity and also for our own sense of dharma. So may we not allow our energy to be dissipated or scattered or taken inappropriately into the swell of the world around us. May we hold steady. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Thank you very much for sharing your practice with me and with the community. This particular community that was gathered this morning is here for a yoga therapy training, and so I had to close class to get them ready for their next session. I do encourage you to look into the practice of chanting, however, and we do have several other recordings in this YouTube channel that include chanting the sounds of the chakras. Those are called the bij mantras, the bij sound, the seed sounds of the chakras. We also have other practices related to the Bhagavad Gita and the warrior brothers in the Gita, so we'll list those in the description down below this video. As always, don't forget to click like if a practice was helpful to you, or let us know what questions or comments you have down below the video as well. And please do subscribe to the channel. That inspires us to keep producing content for you. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Thank you.